Let's begin with New Zealand. We can't beat them at rugby. They can't beat us in cricket, so let's never talk of rugby again. Australia was 4 for 34, but Alex Carey, Mitch Marsh and my captain, Pat Cummins, dragged them to the 281-run target.
Fabulous victory, and one that was desperately needed. Had they lost this game, Australia would have only won 1 out of their last 5 Test series. You think of that. Instead, they've won 6 out of their last Tests this summer. So it will carry them through the off-season. It's an extraordinary win because New Zealand are unbeaten at home, well, they were, for their last 13 series over 7 years. And yet when Australia turns up, they just get swamped every time. 30 years since they'd beaten Australia over there. The two stats don't line up. They're a different team against everybody. They beat England, they beat India over there, but against us, we got it up here.
How great was it to see Alex Carey score that 98 not out? Because he hasn't looked like the same batter since the Lord's Test. So it was really great to see him back in the form, scoring some runs.
Absolutely.
Do you reckon that saved his career? Do you think that would keep him in the side with that score that he's made?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah, solid guy, liked by the players, but just been a little bit off-key for the last 12 months or so. But I will say this, he put away, he can get a bit flary at times, and he knows that, but he just put away the extra spice bottle and just kept things nicely, really calm, considered innings. It was terrific.
We haven't really seen the complete team performance, though, have we, in recent times?
No.
Individuals are going well in critical moments for us, but not the collective together.
There's been some great escape acts. This was one of the best. And, of course, Pat Cummins, yet again. It's extraordinary that in the 4th innings of each test, he averages more runs than Marnus Labuschagne and Steve Smith in their various careers. That's extraordinary. I think he averages 33. Very few players do that. But when he was out injured, he about 6 or 8 years ago, with a bad back, he was a specialist batsman in grade cricket, and he learned a lot about batting. And when they really, really needed, it's there.
Should he have blocked? This is actually, before we do that, we'll go back to what you said, because apart from that devilishly good looks that he has and charming, he has done exactly what you say. He enjoys and owns those big moments. This was, I think, that was his first Test.
Now this is where it all started.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old Pat Cummins against South Africa in the Lions' Den, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And they needed about 18 to win, and that's what he scored. And I just think from that moment, that gave him such a lift.
This is the semi-final of the World Cup. He does it again.
Yeah.
Plonks it out there. It's quite amazing how regularly he does it. With such panache, and he's a terrific batter. We said he did it again yesterday.
I think at the end of his career, Candice, he will be regarded as the coolest cricketer of his generation. Mr. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But was it cool for him to hit the winning runs when his partner was 98 not out up the other end? Should he maybe just block that last ball of the over out and leave Carey on that, and let him get the chance to hit the winning runs? Let's have a listen to what they had to say to that question yesterday.
Standing the non-strikers in, you need 2 to win. You're 2 away from 100, and you've got Pat trying to smash you to the covers.
I was happy with that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I didn't want to get on strike again.
You left him 98 not out, but I think you were pretty keen to get it over and done with, weren't you?
Yeah, any way possible. I had no idea he was on 98, so that would have been embarrassing if he was celebrating and I wasn't looking.
There he was. He's cool.
And the little scoreboard didn't help. I think the scoreboard at times, the players didn't trust it. But that also said of the zone Cummins goes into, like just sort of focusing on the game. But in a way, I think Carey's innings will be more famous for being 98 not out. Like, he's already got a Test ton. So just the fact that he was short and wasn't whinging, I think it adds to the lustre of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going, like when selectors look at who they're going to pick for India later on in the year, I don't think they're going to go, oh, he hasn't scored a century in a while. I think that's now going to cement his spot.
And off the back of that too, they're not going to play for a while.
That's right.
Either. So the preparations for what will be huge tests against India, who don't play that much either themselves, the build-up's going to be enormous here.
I think it might have been your idea that Steve Smith opens the batting for Australia. You're all for it. How are you feeling right about now?
Yeah, I reckon I got it wrong. And that's the reason why. Like, Steve Smith used to know exactly where his off-stump was. That's such an un-Steve Smith dismissal. But he's lost his radar. Look at his feet. His feet are sort of moving at odd times. His body's moving at odd times. And the fast bowlers, they can see an LBW coming. They are sweating on it. Like, They never used to bowl at his stumps because they said he belts us through the leg side all the time. Yet look at that, he's missed that easily, a bit off balance. Candice, it's interesting because Kerry O'Keefe about 6 years ago on this show, and he's the greatest analyst, he said, Steve Smith's an eye player, great player, but when eyes go, they can go quickly. He said, so it would not surprise at some point to see him in that decline.
So with India coming out later in the year, they've won over here their last 2 series. What do you do with Steve Smith? Do you keep him at opening? Because if he doesn't open and if he goes back down to 4, who opens? Who would then drop out of the side if you then brought a specialist opener in? I mean, they could put Marsh or Travis Head at the top of the order, but I don't think either of those players want to open.
And that's a fair point, but that's an interesting point. Like, Travis doesn't want to open, but imagine in a state of origin team if someone said, oh, I'll only play centre, but I don't really want to play wing, if that's all right.
Zach Lomax style.
Yeah. but that's, the team has got to be bigger than that. Travis is vice-captain now and very experienced. If they want him to open, he should open.
Who's the best opener outside in the next level down in Australia?
Oh, you'd probably say Matt Renshaw.
So, is that not your answer?
Well,
then why aren't we going for a specialist opener rather than trying to fill the open spot?
Well, since David Warner retired, they've lacked snap and crackle there. Kawaj used to love going in Warner's slipstream a bit, and that sort of got him going. He stopped off a bit. I think, here's my tip. Next series, they will open with Steve Smith. He will play the 5 tests, and if it doesn't work out, I think he may retire. And what a career he's had. And I'll give him this credit. He is brave, Steve Smith. Plenty of others said they didn't want to open. He said, I'll have a go at it, so I'll give him points for that.